I think you got to pick the lesser of two evils.
Donald J. Trump! Yeah! Is there anything Trump could do to cause you to withhold your vote? Do you feel like he drained the swamp the first time?
No. We've got a lot of work.
How can we expect him to do anything different than he did the first time?
Don't!
If all that was wrong with Kamala Harris, and there's many things wrong with her, was that she's for red flag laws and assault weapons bans, that would be enough for you not to vote for her, right?
I think so. I think the Second Amendment's pretty clear on that.
Now, Donald Trump instituted red flag laws. You weren't against that?
I don't really know the details on it, to be honest with you.
Well, he instituted red flag laws.
Okay. But so, are they that extreme, like what you just described?
It's called the Extreme Risk Protection Order.
Extreme Risk Protection Orders.
Why are you for Trump?
I can't say much. I mean, he's better than Biden.
So it's basically you're voting for the lesser of two evils?
Yeah, you could simply say that, I guess you could say.
I think you got to pick the lesser of two evils.
What really irks me about Donald Trump is Operation Warp Speed. It's a $6.2 trillion big pharma banker stimulus package, most of which went to them. It was the biggest power and wealth transfer in American history. $6.2 trillion with one signature. That doesn't strike you as, how is that making America great again?
It's not.
It's not.
God damn!
Whether Donald Trump gets to be president or Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or whoever they put in there, the Federal Reserve will still be in the power, the issuance and value of our currency. So in that realm, how does your vote affect anything?
I mean, that's the sad, honest, reality of politics.
All right, we are at the Trump rally here in Duluth, Georgia. There's 159 counties in Georgia, and it's known as a swing state, which means it could go either way in this selection process known as the presidential election. So what we got here is in 2020, Biden won by about 11,000 votes. Remember those 11,000 votes?
So, look, all I want to do is this. I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have, because we won the state.
So it's 49.5% for Biden to 49.2% for Trump. Now, typically what you see at these rallies is a conservative trying to own the libs, or a lib trying to own the conservative, or the conservatives who are kind of singing to the choir, or the Democrats who are singing to the choir. Today, we are going by the edict and the precept that truth fears no scrutiny. So we're going to talk to some Trump supporters and find out why they are voting for Donald J. Trump. Yeah. So we're out here with some Trump supporters. Anybody want to tell me why you're voting for Donald J. Trump?
Tell him.
Make America great again.
How's he going to do that?
Every way
Tariffs,
possible.
securing the border.
Okay.
Golly, the list is big, but lower taxes, not taxing Social Security, not on the elderly, no tax on tips.
Okay.
Be respected in the world again.
All right, so if you were going to say anything to a Kamala supporter to get her to change her view, stop voting for Kamala and vote for Donald J. Trump, what is your best case for that?
Get off the television and do your own research.
Yeah. And what will they find?
They'll find the truth that, Kamala's policies are fake, for one. The truth is in her
record.
Statements of the past, her record, absolutely.
You want to weigh in?
Yeah.
Get in.
I always say most important thing is national security. And you can't have a secure country without a secure border. That's right. And the border is just wide open. We see it on the real news all the time. And it's dangerous. I'm from Athens, Georgia. We had a major murder there less than 2 miles from where I live. You can't deny that wouldn't have happened if the border were more secure.
Okay, now two of the main issues are the economy and the border. Which of those two do you think is the most important for people?
I think it has to be the border first. Once you get that fixed, then you focus more on the economy. I mean, both are important, but we have to have secure borders. It's national security first, I believe.
Now, be honest. Is there anything Donald Trump did in his first term that you were not pleased with?
I wasn't a fan of?
Yeah.
The only.
And I'm asking you this because I talked to Kamala supporters, I talked to Trump supporters, and when I press Kamala supporters on the issue, conversation's over.
Sure, yeah.
You know, they don't want to go any deeper, and it's kind of a cult of personality. It's like, no, she can do no wrong, she's God kind of thing. So is there anything on Donald Trump's part in 2020, you know, I'm sorry, from 2016 to 2020 that he did that you didn't like?
I would say the only thing that really comes to mind, because I don't know every single policy, the only thing that comes to mind is he could sometimes be his own worst enemy, just where, you know, and I love his personality. I love that he's a tough guy and kind of trolls and taunts people like he did at McDonald's. I just feel like sometimes he could have just not tweeted this one thing against this one person, you know, and no examples are coming to mind, but I thought sometimes his Twitter could get the best of him.
Is there anything, I'm thinking of something that I think you would absolutely agree with.
Okay.
Hillary Clinton didn't see a day of jail.
Right.
He should have locked her up. I mean, I truly believe he should have locked her up.
It's pretty clear.
You're the puppet.
It's pretty clear you won't admit
No, you're
that
the
the
puppet.
Russians. It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
I don't disagree, but I also like the point he's made about that as, you know, he had bigger things to accomplish because of the mess that he started with. And also, you know, he didn't want the look, even though he talked about it a lot and the crowds chanted it a lot, of putting in a former First Lady in jail. He just didn't like that look. So, I mean, I take his word.
Yeah, but the look would have been justice, right? And we would have all been behind him. He would have had at least 70 million people going, yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Not only does she deserve to be in jail, she probably deserves to hang.
Yeah, and I don't disagree, but I think he just felt that once he got in office, he had bigger fish to fry. And, you know, and I don't disagree with that either, you know.
Now, if you found out that a candidate in any presidential campaign, not just this one, but anyone, was bankrolled by Rothschilds Incorporated, would you vote for them?
I would not like that.
So if you found out that Kamala Harris was bankrolled by Rothschilds back in the 1990s, that would be something that would just, that's all you would need to.
I'd have to do more research on what that means, but no, I'm not going to, I didn't vote for Kamala anyway, but I get the point you're making.
And if you found out there was any candidate that was for taking guns, I'm a Second Amendment guy,
me too.
all the way. And when it says shall not be infringed, it means shall not be infringed. I'm talking about they should do away with the 1934 assault weapons ban, because if the government has the weapons, we should be able to have the weapons. At least that's what the founding fathers thought about, you know, the British.
I agree. No, that would be a deal breaker.
So if all that was wrong with Kamala Harris, and there's many things wrong with her, was that she's for red flag laws and assault weapons bans, that would be enough for you not to vote for her, right?
I think so. I think the Second Amendment's pretty clear on that.
Yeah, because you're familiar with red flag laws, right?
To some degree, yeah.
Red flag laws where a person, like say you and I are in Walmart and we carry, I open carry for, you know, I know it's tactically inferior, but I open carry because I want to sensitize people to the fact that, hey, a nice guy can carry a gun. You don't have to be a cop. You don't have to be a government agent. So somebody could see me in Walmart, freak out, anonymously call the local police department, have them go over, violate my Fourth Amendment right to be secure in my person's house with papers in effect, violate my Second Amendment right, take my gun, and take me away to a psych ward for 72 hours. You're against that, right?
Definitely against that. Okay. That's like to the nth degree.
Now, Donald Trump instituted red flag laws in 2019 after the Las Vegas shooting. How did you weren't against that?
I don't really know the details on it, to be honest with you.
Well, he instituted red flag laws.
Okay. But so are they that extreme, like what you just described?
It's called the Extreme Risk Protection Order.
I have called for red flag laws, also known as extreme risk protection orders.
Assault weapons bans, red flag laws, universal background checks.
Well, I'm looking to do background checks. I think background checks are important. I'm all in favor of it.
When we win in November, we are finally going to pass universal background checks.
I think we can have some really meaningful background checks.
Red flag laws.
Universal background checks.
I think we can bring up background checks like we've never had before.
You and I could literally tonight be placed in a psych ward under red flag laws, all our guns confiscated, and our lives ruined, basically.
Yeah. I just have to do more research on it.
Okay, he's still for that. He didn't lock up Hillary Clinton. He was bankrolled by the Rothschilds Inc. back in the 1990s when he got upside down with Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. The employee's name was Wilbur Ross. He worked for Rothschilds Inc. 25 years later, when Trump became president, he made Wilbur Ross the Commerce Secretary. So he put a Rothschilds guy, which Steve Mnuchin is also, he made him the Treasury Secretary. You're not against any of that?
I'd have to learn more.
Okay, well, what if that was true? What if everything I said was true?
I'd have to learn more.
But if upon studying and you found out it was true, would that make you pause at least?
I'm a Trump supporter. I'd have to learn more before I would. I'm a Trump supporter. I'd have to learn more before I would.
Is there anything Donald Trump could do? Because I've asked Kamala supporters this. Is there anything Kamala could do to withhold your vote from her? And they said no. She's basically God. Is there anything Trump could do to cause you to withhold your vote?
I'm sure there is. Like if he were putting in more of her policies, but he's not. I like his policies.
Red flag laws, civil asset forfeiture, broad spectrum qualified immunity for all law enforcement, including the bad cops.
I'd have to do more research.
All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Truth fears no scrutiny. All right. So we're going to work our way down the line. We're going to be talking to Trump supporters, see if they know what the policies are, see if they know who Donald Trump is and what his policies are. Why are you for Trump?
I mean, I can't say much. I mean, he's better than Biden in all senses. Like, I mean, back then we had lower gas prices and whatnot, cheaper stuff. I'd say, in my opinion, that helped a lot, even for my case. But
so it's basically you're voting for the lesser of two evils?
yeah, you could simply say that, I guess you could say.
Because voting for the lesser of two evils is still voting for evil, right?
Yeah, in that sense, you could say yes.
Can you tell the world why you're going to vote for Donald John Trump?
Just because it makes sense. Common sense. Just because it makes sense. Common sense values. I mean, he's done it before for 4 years. Everything was much better than it is now. You look like Shawn Michaels, by the way.
Yeah, everybody says that.
Party of the people, just like Tulsi said. Party of common sense, party of values. Let's just get this done. Vote for Trump.
Now, I talk to a lot of people, including Kamala supporters, and when I start pressing them on the hard questions, automatically the conversation is over because I don't think they're really interested in the truth. Kamala Harris wants assault weapons banned. First of all, what's an assault weapon? And that's antithetical to the Second Amendment. Is there anything that
them to define an assault weapon when they can't even define a woman?
Yeah, no. Good point. Especially, I mean, we got Ketanji Jackson Brown. She can't even. She's a Supreme Court justice, for God's sake.
Right.
But did Trump do anything in his first term that you did not like, that you were against?
Maybe he worked a little too much with the deep state, but he was probably too trusting and thought that he could work with people who were already entrenched and make a difference, but apparently not. He's going to have to do that a little bit differently, I think, this time.
Well, you bring up a really, really good point there, is the Operation Warp Speed. You know, everybody was against Anthony Fauci, and for good reason, right? But did you know that at the end of his term, Donald Trump actually commended Deborah Birx and Anthony Fauci? How did that sit with you?
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I mean, I feel like Birx did a better job than Fauci. I mean, if you do any research or any degree of digging into Fauci's history, you'll see that he's not a good person, and he's always had a very different agenda that's contrary to what this country should be about.
Truth fears no scrutiny. I feel like I can talk to you about truth. What really irks me about Donald Trump is Operation Warp Speed. It's a $6.2 trillion big pharma banker stimulus package, most of which went to them. It was the biggest power and wealth transfer in American history. $6.2 trillion with one signature. That doesn't strike you as, how is that making America great again?
It's not. Just because it makes sense, common sense values. I mean, I think he needs to learn from the past, and he needs to understand. I think he does, and I think that's why he's formed this coalition with people like Bobby Kennedy and Tulsi Gabbard, because he realizes he needs to think bigger, he needs to think big picture, and he needs to take a different approach to trying to basically take, or I don't want to say take down, because, language these days is so, volatile and people take it out of context. But he needs to lessen the influence of these big lobbying groups, big pharma especially.
But he didn't do that. Not only did he not do that the first time, do you feel like he drained the swamp the first time?
No. He's got a lot of work.
How can we expect him to do anything different than he did the first time?
We just have to hope that he learned from the first 4 years and he won't repeat the same mistakes. But do we really expect the other side to do any better?
So are you basically voting? Is this a voting for the lesser of two evils?
I firmly believe in Trump, but I'm more of a fiscal conservative who is certainly voting more on terms of the kitchen table issues, in terms of the economy, inflation. I want better fiscal policy. I want lower taxes. I want to maintain the tax Trump cuts, or the Trump tax cuts. Excuse me. And
Speaking of fiscal,
I want to create opportunities for more people by lowering barriers to, economic vitality and progress.
Along the lines of fiscal and monetary policy, who's actually is the president in control of that?
Is the president in control of that? He can help set the tone. Obviously, he needs people in the party to also take on the mantle and promote those same principles.
But is there any economic or monetary policy that Congress or the president can approve of that wasn't first signed off on by the Federal Reserve?
I mean, you're going to a lot of different places that...
No, this is monetary and economic policy because that's the number one issue.
The Federal Reserve has too much power as well.
Yeah.
So
with the Federal Reserve being in power with every...
need a constitutional amendment for that, though, right?
Or just the will of the people. Because remember Prohibition?
I can't remember. Was it a constitutional amendment that formed the Federal Reserve?
Federal Reserve Act of 1913.
Yeah. So, we need to repeal that then. Probably.
Right. So whether Donald Trump gets to be president or Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or whoever they put in there, the Federal Reserve will still be in the power of the issuance and value of our currency. So in that realm, how does your vote affect anything?
I mean, that's the sad, honest, reality of politics, and we have such a small voice. But like you said, as a strong movement, we can speak with,
I know, but it's a movement that's supporting a guy who did Operation Warp Speed, red flag laws, bump stock bans. On bump stock bans, Donald Trump criminalized millions of Americans for no reason. Were you against that?
I mean, I wasn't thrilled with that, but I don't really know the context behind that to really speak on it.
Well, it was on the heels of the Las Vegas shooting, and the guy had bump stocks, and he banned them, which criminalized millions of Americans who had them, which is antithetical to I'm a Second Amendment guy.
The bump stocks in the hotel room didn't even commit the atrocities that everyone thinks he did.
Yeah, but I mean, that's beside the point because Donald Trump actually criminalized Americans.
I mean, I think the deep state's a bigger problem. We need to start unveiling some of these secrets that have been kept from the American public.
Well, bump stock bans and red flag laws and take the guns. Remember when he said take the guns first, due process second, when he was sitting next to Diane, I call her Diane Frankenstein because she's a gun grabber. I'm a Second Amendment guy. Yeah. I'm totally against the Democrats. I believe that she is Comrade Kamala, and I'm not trying to set you up or anything, but I want to have I want to have an honest conversation about what the truth actually is.
I'm not like in that right headspace to have that type of detailed conversation.
No, and I appreciate you staying here and not walking away too.
Yeah. No, I mean I think there's a lot of work to be done, and we do need to be more serious about protecting our constitutional freedoms per the Bill of Rights, and we need to re-examine some of these things. I think Trump got himself into trouble probably thinking he could be magnanimous and work across the aisle on certain issues, and maybe he thought if he gave on that, he might give, or if he gave in on that, he might get a little bit more somewhere else, and it didn't happen. I think he realized what, true masqueraders they are in terms of not really being serious about wanting to work with Republicans on anything.
He said Israel rightly should control Congress. What do you think about that?
I don't know where this is coming from. I have no idea.
He's proven himself to be Israel first, not America first.
This was a special token of affection given by myself and the First Lady to Prime Minister and the First Lady of Israel. And it's a key. We call it a key to the White House, and it's a key to our country and to our hearts.
On the moral plane of consistency and stepping away from hypocrisy, I can't choose either candidate because they're both basically for the same swamp things.
They never will be, but I mean, I think you got to pick the lesser of two evils then in that regard, if that's how you feel.
But you're still picking evil, right? You still acknowledge
I don't think I'm picking evil necessarily.
$6.2 trillion stimulus package wasn't evil?
There's $36 trillion worth of debt.
Yeah, and he added 8.4
of the whole operation. I mean, the whole thing in Washington needs to be downsized. We've got a problem in Washington with spending, regardless of who it is. So
right, but it can be argued that the inflation we saw in the first 2 years of Biden came from all that spending that Trump did. Plus, he gave the military-industrial complex, which Eisenhower warned us against, a 10% increase, more than any other president, including George H.W. Bush.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I call that evil. That's evil. Bump stock bans are evil. Red flag laws are evil. Because I'm America. Because I'm make America great again. I truly want to make America great.
Well, we got to start somewhere. I guess I got more faith in J.D. Vance and the people around him this time.
J.D. Vance is backed by Peter Thiel, who's in bed with Israel.
I read that too. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but
yeah, he bankrolls them. He's an acolyte of Peter Thiel. He admits it.
Yeah, there's a lot of unfortunate bedfellows, but
they're globalist. Every one of them are globalists.
Well, then we got a much bigger issue. I on our hands, and everybody better stock up on their guns.
That means everybody here. That means everybody.
Before it gets better.
Well, that means everybody here and everybody at a Kamala Harris rally are actually voting for globalism. But if you don't vote for it, you've taken the moral high ground, and you're actually
help anything if they stay in power.
Because they're doing it.
Because they're just making things even worse.
But they're going to be in power
with everyday issues that Americans really care about.
Right.
So,
like the economy.
I wish as many Americans paid such close attention as you do to these issues, but they don't. So that's, what are you going to do?
It's just that Donald Trump made so many, and Kamala Harris have made so many promises that they've lied about, and they are known liars, and politicians, that's synonymous with politicians as liars. So I'm just trying to affect change by truth. Truth will set you free, not lies.
We need a lot more truth. I don't disagree with that.
Hey, thank you for taking your time to watch this video. If you want to see more man on the street videos just like this, stay tuned and also get additional content like this on my YouTube channel, The Disturbing Illusion. You definitely want to subscribe over there. To get bonus content, go over to my Facebook page, High Impact Flicks, and at Twitter at High Impact Flicks and High Impact Flicks on Rumble. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell, like, share, and engage in the comment section under this video because it really helps me overcome the algorithm. Until next time, don't drink anybody's Kool-Aid and keep your critical thinking cap on at all times. I'll see you in the next video.